Adam, you're welcome to come up if you want to. Please do share the space out. It's all very exciting. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're okay. Now, we are live on Clubhouse. We are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, on Twitter, on X. And we are also just bringing up the notes that I made earlier on account of the fact that me and Ju started talking yesterday. And I was telling him about some of the things that had happened to me this weekend. And one of the things that's happened to me is I was being called Ernest. Now we know that that's not my name, but we do know that that actually I am quite earnest. I think that's where people came from. I think they were saying that actually what we find is that I am quite clear, I guess, earnestly clear with my ways of communicating. And so me and Ju started talking about the importance of being earnest and whether we could even remember what the heck earnest was and why it had been anything. And I really didn't know, to be honest. I didn't know what it was about. But I do believe that it is quite important in this world where we have got lots of information and we are constantly being bombarded with it from every which way and how. Yesterday I was in my office with my Rodecaster Pro on the 3 machines that I have. I went into the living room and there was a TV and a skybox. I went into the bedroom and of course there's an Alexa. Literally, we are just brimming with constant communication and networking opportunities, the amount of people. When I think about where we are live on, and then the fact that at the weekend I went to look at some of the messages and realised that I've had people responding to the fact that I was there's a nomination being put in place by James Lawrence. We are literally brimming with those opportunities for networking, and so I think that being earnest or being sincerely earnest, being clear, being passionate, being absolute about the fact that these communication things are important, I think that's the bedrock of how we trust, of how we collaborate. And I'm sure that you've heard me say again and again that for me, collaboration is king. In fact, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Mandy-Jayne for those that are watching on Instagram, etc., and everywhere else. I'm a teacher, a therapist, and I'm training to be a social worker. Excuse me, bit of a tickle in my throat there. And I have been talking about the importance of being authentic for many, many, many weeks. Sorry, were you on mic there, Alexia? Did you want something, my love?
No.
Oh, that's all right. You okay? Are you all right? Oh, that's all right. Cool. Good. I'm glad you're all right. I was worried then for a minute. Oh, excuse me with my Spotify being ridiculous. Oh, I don't know why that's happened. Alexa, stop. I can't hear it. Alexa, stop. That's annoying, isn't it? See, you can't even organise the communication because it's everywhere, brimming with it. And so then sincerity or our authenticity, our collaboration is all, well, it's imperative if we're going to make meaningful progress, right? Because we can all be busy. My goodness. Literally, I'm an artist at being busy. I can be busy for any time you like, for as long as you like, probably until the end of my days. But whether I am meaningfully busy and I'm making meaningful progress is another thing. So I think that being earnest isn't just a moral choice. So let's be authentic, let's be real with each other. But actually, I think it's a strategic advantage. And I also believe that it's going to help us in our organizational structures. Why do I think that? And our cultures. Well, I think that because authenticity breeds trust, right? We know where we are with people that we know where we are with. If you feel that somebody is telling you from the hip, they're telling you as they think, and you know that they're telling you what they feel right then people are more likely to trust us. And I think we are much more likely to make long-standing relationships. And I think long-standing relationships are rare in this day and age, to be honest. And for some of you, we have been on Clubhouse for over 3 years now. So long-standing relationships, the length of a degree we have spent together. I think that enhances our communication. You've heard me for hours and hours, and I've heard you for hours and hours. We've waited for each other on stages, and we've waited for each other to cry. We've supported each other when we've cried, and we've supported each other to cry. I think that reduces any challenges that we have of misunderstanding or not understanding each other's culture or coming from a different background. And it's also absolutely imperative for teamwork and project success. And I have a team, and I'm definitely part of a project. What team or project are you part of? You might have been part of your family project yesterday when you were dealing with Mother's Day. It might be that you are part of your work team or your family, your Caras team, or this team, Clubhouse team, or your team in inclusion. And remember, we are in inclusion tonight at 7 o'clock for those that come on a Monday night in Clubhouse, in the inclusion room. This creates authentic leadership. All right, leaders that are sincere in their actions and their words inspire loyalty and motivate their teams more effectively. Because authenticity is a magnet, I believe, for respect and engagement. We know when somebody's telling the truth. If I tell you I can't do something, you can pretty much know, I think, if you know me, that I've exhausted all possibilities in getting it done. For me to be able to say it's not possible, I'll probably just keep checking, just keep looking, and just keep trying. And I think that our impact of being earnest is multiple. I think being earnest or being authentic or being real or being, urgent, I guess, determined, involves not just the doing, not just the acting, not just the telling, but in terms of inclusion, listening and understanding those diverse perspectives and listening to them with an open heart. That's the cornerstone for creating inclusive work where all our voices are valued. Being earnest is important in decision making because it means that our decisions are based on integrity, on what's right rather than what's convenient, and rather than responding to peer pressure. When we think about the UK government, there's a lot of peer pressure, isn't there? Because then that becomes the norm otherwise, unless we speak up. So on decision making, authenticity and being earnest is vital. And then on our personal growth, because it's so easy, isn't it, to, as somebody was saying at the weekend, actually, part of the elite group I'm in, Kate Caruth was saying that it's easy to do it and not to be it. Being true to ourselves and others means really reflecting on what we're doing, but also what we're being, because we can all go through the motions, can't we, again and again and again. And not really be engaging in that which we are purporting to be engaged in, emotionally, that is. So I say inclusion can happen here, but unless it happens and moves to the heart, it's just not possible. Not authentically, not earnestly. And then being earnest helps us overcome challenges. Why? Well, I think that if we have to conform to this polished demeanor, to this front face thing that I've certainly tried to do at some point, I think what happens is that we just have to pretend all the time, and it becomes very difficult to know who we are with who. It also means it's difficult to have friends together or even colleagues in the same room if we're different things to different people, if we are chameleonizing. So I think there are strategies that we can use, and maybe we'll talk about those in a little while, to overcome those kinds of challenges, to help express safely our vulnerability, and for us to consistently have courage about who and what and how we are and what we stand for. Comes back to having real clarity, I think, about our goals and real clarity about who we are and what we're aiming towards. I can give you some real life examples as well where being earnest has served me, and also probably when it hasn't. But I'd just like to think just for a moment about where you might be able to think about becoming more earnest. Now, whether that's in an interaction with somebody, it might be that you chew the cud, but you don't really listen. That you see them on a morning as they come in the office and you do the, hey, how are you? But you don't really ask. Maybe just a little more earnest in those interactions might mean that you feel connected to that person. If somebody's irritating you and you don't know why, try listening to them for a while. You'll probably find out what it is about them that's irking you. And that's usually, I find, all about me. If somebody irks me, it's because there's something about them that's irking me, about me, usually. So I think we can become more earnest in our interactions and therefore our decisions, because our decisions then can be made one at a time with integrity and steadiness. Because maybe sometimes we make decisions based on our lip service, based on the motions rather than based on the doing and the being. So I think that being earnest, or the importance of being earnest, is not just that it was a very interesting film that got lots of attention, but it is about making a conscious choice every day to be authentic, to lead with that integrity, make those decisions, say when we don't know, explain when we need to go and find out, helping us build those relationships, helping us show up and say, do you know what? I didn't get done what I thought I'd do, but this is what I did get done. Can we go from there? I think the power of sincerity helps, or will help, or does help us to create a connected and more transparent and inclusive world. I'm looking forward to more and more and more authenticity. When you look at documentaries, there's just so many now that are, let me grab my camera and go. Remember the Blair Witch Project? Well, we've taken documentary to a new level now with people taken to the streets with their microphones and their phones and their cameras, and filming all sorts of things to showcase how the world really is. And my YouTube channel is about to be launched with some information and new videos every day. They're going to be up there about my theories and ideas and concepts and practices, because in our professional sphere, as well as these examples I can give, as well as the practical advice that I can give, I think that my doing and my showcasing of my doing is important, because it's the outcomes, right? People want to see stories. They want to see how people have progressed. And so that's where we're going towards my ideas, the theories, and then the stories that we're telling. I think that we are powerful when we're authentic. I think we're powerful when we're earnest. I think when we have passion about something, when we know who we are because we know where we're going, I think that just is evident in everything we do and say. It's also evident in everything we plan, right? Because we can't plan something if we haven't got a direction that we're going in. I know there's somebody here. Hey, Louise, good morning, in the audience, who's got lots of plans going on with her son at the moment. Happy Mother's Day for yesterday, Louise. And Happy Mother's Day yesterday to everyone as well for yesterday. I was doing an assignment. So I'm not going to go on too long this morning. I really want to spend some time hearing from other people. My voice is a little long-winded sometimes, I think. But the importance of being earnest for me is just, people say, oh, you are passionate, or aren't you passionate about what you do? And sometimes I'm sure that's a little bit much, a little bit overwhelming for people. But to be honest, I think the world's hard enough without not having something that you're passionate about. So if you don't feel very passionate about something today, then maybe have a look round and see what you want to get passionate about. Because I think that life is about passion. It's also about being earnest, because when we're passionate about something, then we become just so authentic about it, because we're busy trying to explain our passion, and then all of that lip service and pretense gets dropped. And then I believe that's where the alchemy is. The real magic is in our togetherness. But you know that I believe that we're better together and better playing a good game alongside each other, understanding how these systems work. But whichever systems they are, I'm telling you, they are better when they are the real deal. And I've just written 2,500 words, James. I'm going to come to you first, actually, because this weekend I have been delighted with the fact that your incredibly thoughtful and delightful nomination of me has meant that we've had 2,500 words to write. So, James, good morning. Thank you for my nomination.
Oh, you're welcome. Good morning, MJ. Yeah, I'm delightful. It was Mother's Day today.
It was.
And I didn't commence the DIY that my safety supervisor had turned up to commence with me. I'd done the Sunday roast dinner for me and Mum,
Yeah.
and I had a really good lunchtime and morning and everything, and getting a little bit, and I thought, no, you're not at your physical peak to be stressing over this rather large collection of library books that are not all on the correct shelves, and they're all sort of in piles of bricks all in different areas of the floor. But I know next weekend that it'll be up, installed, and thingy, because it's quite a move getting it in place, and I've realised that there's an opportunity to put a light above it as it's near my desk, which I've got positioned and working. And
Fantastic.
the laptop seems to be cooperating at the moment, which means I might stand a fighting chance if someone emails me the link for tonight's StreamYard. Once I send you the correct email address, I'll be able to send that to you, either Marie, and we'll get that sorted. And,
thank you.
Because this thing I'm holding in my hand, this phone, is rather, archaic, should we say. It's not cooperating that much at the moment. It decided last week when my Facebook had been hacked, it decided that it just would not let me, and it still won't let me for some strange reason, access one of my Facebook accounts. But thankfully, there's one alive on the computer. So
well done.
I've got quite a bit of office work to do this week, and it's all technical computery annoyance stuff. And both me and Julian know how damned annoying iPads, laptops, and all these other non-mechanical devices are. Thankfully, I have a date booked with Dolores soon, and it's the 18th of July, and I will be back on the bike. I've got a few good hospital appointments to follow through within the next week or two, and they should hopefully give me the guidance. The physio has said that you should be able to start on a static bike very soon, and we're just awaiting my specialist appointment, which is early next month, just after our wonderful Easter meet. So I'll have progress, but I've already booked the date for the 18th. It's marked on several of my calendars and in a beautiful journal that some lady who was referring to before has made. And if any of you is in need of a journal, I can certainly recommend a really good one. But yeah, I'm really excited with my plans at the moment to move forward, and just getting more movement out of this Ludi left arm of mine is a bit of a. Although I have got a mannequin in the bedroom, on them small French wooden things, whatever they're called, the French antique. Mine's not really antique, but each week I alter the clock sign on the left hand, so I'm getting more degrees of movement, and it's just a matter of time before I have enough movement to be on a static bike now, but I've not got the okay, so I can't, and I won't.
Not yet.
Because what doctor says. I like what the doctor says, and I'm really pleased that nomination is gonna has given you a bit more homework to do, because you are really good with homework. I think you'd certainly be not the one at the back of the corner like I used to be at school, but you'll be right at the front listening and typing away. But anyway, have a lovely week, and I'll catch up later, because other incredible people. I don't know, we're on a 7 o'clock hard stop, I would imagine, today. But, take care and have a lovely week, everybody. It's great to see so many people on the stage.
Thank you, James. Thank you. And yes, it is a hard stop at 7 because I'm at work at 8. And we are on the 6th week of the local authority placement. So can you believe we're on the 6th week? And yes, thank you for that homework. It was, who knew that we'd have to do homework on top, but how exciting that I've been able to share that with the gentleman that proofreads for us. So I've actually given some people some work over the weekend. So I wrote it and then somebody else has proofread it for me. And then I uploaded it last night, so it's gone in. So we shall see, won't we? We've done all that we needed to do, and that's all we can do. Now we have to leave it in the lap of the gods. Actually, we don't, because the reality is that from the 1st of April, I think, there is a people choice voting possibility. So there will be an opportunity to vote for me in the Women Changing the World Award that James nominated me for. So please look out for that. Let's not leave it to the whole world to decide. Let's decide for it ourselves and share it out. So when we get it, let's share that link. Be exciting. Good morning, Alexia. Sorry to jump over you, but I just wanted to know whether James was aware he'd got me to write 2,500 words.
No, I don't mind at all. I've actually just been, I think it's lovely what you've been talking about this morning. Today's blog, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm talking about the journey with Mandela.
Yes.
And
the children.
By coming together, we have made such a difference. And I was just putting at the end of that, because normally I've already written this by now, but like you, it's been quite a weekend. That it does come together with the planet and with inclusion, because we have the power to change what is around us, and that's where the whole journey starts. That's how you started your journey, by doing things around you, by bringing people around you, by showing people that things can change. We all change all the time. And that makes such a difference to how we see life. I'm still writing to those children. We're actually a day late, because normally I get it out on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm going to have to do it today. But I'm going to remind them how far they've come, because they didn't have a bed to sleep on. They weren't going to school. They weren't getting enough to eat. The thing that stuck out with me, and you were there, I think, well, you were there pretty much at the beginning, but I don't think you were actually working with Pete then, when the cry from Mandela for help came in. And I never forget what he said. I don't want this to just be a handout. I want to show you what I want to do, what I want to build for these children. And he's building it. But we're stronger. You said it. We are stronger together. Yeah, we can do things on our own, but when we work together, things happen. I struggled to get my university working for TMAs because of my dyslexia. Maria's my PA, looks at it. Down the line, I'll have more support as well. But I have to be prepared to work with you, to work with Marie, to work with the group, and not be too much of an individualist, because there's a compromise in that journey of working together and doing things on our own. And being brought up to be independent isn't always in my best interest, because I don't maybe have the knowledge to do something. So working together, we are stronger and we have more say as well. It means that we can reach more people. So who are you going to try and reach today and do it in a kind way, yeah. And sometimes as the earth healer, I have to be honest, I don't always feel kind when somebody's done something they shouldn't do. But even though I don't have as much time, I've gone back to finding time to collect a bit more rubbish. And I can't tell you what a difference that's making to the area. It's making to me as well, although it's not necessarily always helpful to me for the walking, but it is, because although I need the knee replacement, if I don't keep moving, I won't be able to move.
Absolutely.
And that's what this journey is all about, is putting one step in front of the other and keeping going. And learning and not keeping a closed mind to the fact that someone else might be able to help you on that journey. So keep going, MJ. You know I've always got your back as far as possible. And anyone else I can help, because we are stronger together. And I'm going to let someone else speak now so I can finish getting this blog done.
You can. And the fact that you're getting the blog done is fantastic. And also, Mandala, of course, has grown because you've been writing to those children for the last 2 years. And I was here when the call came from Mandala, because, of course, it was Hussein that came in with the girl. I've forgotten her name, actually.
I remember either.
Now I will remember in a minute. Nikki. It was Nikki. There we go. It was Nikki. Nikki and Hussein came, and of course, then Mandala was invited in. I never would imagine, just for the record, that I would be saying that I was part of buying a farm in Uganda, and I'm going to say it quite clearly that, to be honest, I wasn't sure that that was really a thing that I would want to do. If you looked at my history, I'm not sure that I thought that giving aid to the third world was the right thing to do in order to make change. It's not something that I could see in my future. But when we met Mandala, there's a different thing, right?
I think we've got to get away from this idea, because this is why we lose the power to help others, that just handing out money is the answer. When you go to university, you have to show that you understand what you've read and what it means. And it has to be the same when you're helping others. That's how the Earth Healer came about, because it had to be showing myself and showing others that if you look after where you live, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel prouder about it. And that's exactly what Mandela wanted to do. He didn't just want a handout. He wanted those children to know they had opportunities to learn how to live.
Absolutely. You wanted to show them. And let's remember that, the importance of being earnest, which is what we've been talking about, and what you were talking about, Alexia, is that bringing and showing, that gathering around. We are part of a karass. And you're right. We're definitely stronger together, but more than that, when we are together, we actually share each other's consciousness. We share each other's information. I don't think people realise just how strongly that is true, that when we are together, we are sharing one another's consciousness, our experience, our energy, our alchemy. We are creating more than we are. Holism, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. This whole in this club, this space, when we come together, when there's more than one person, that's when they reckon God exists, right?
Oh, God, yes. I've had that shown to me so many times. I've said this before. I wish I could find a piece of paper where I wrote it, that when I move, I'll find somebody who can help me. And you've all heard me talk about Daniel and what he does for me. Yesterday, I was walking really badly, MJ. I put my washing in the tumble dryer, and I got it out, and I thought, oh, God, I've got to carry that upstairs. I'm really walking badly. He didn't even think about it. He said, I've taken your washing upstairs. I've left it on the bed for you.
Oh, yeah.
What you put out comes back to you.
It does.
It really does.
It really does. When I came to Wales, I had nobody. I'd just been charged by the local authority £4,500 for my care and support. and my CHC continuing healthcare had been cut completely. It was 100% NHS funding for my 24-hour nursing. And don't get me wrong, I didn't need 24-hour nursing then. I was, a little better. I was breathing independently, but they came in and they literally ripped everything from me. At that point, if it hadn't been for them ripping everything from me, I never, and I swear down, never would have made the change to go from England to Wales, because my care package was the thing that kept me where I was. Now, I never imagined for a second that being taken away from me would be my making. But if I hadn't done that, I would have still been being charged £4,500, whereas in Wales, because I work full time and I don't have lots of money in the bank, my care is free.
Yeah, it's, if only we could get people to realise the power of working together. Like you, for different reasons, I lost everything.
Yeah.
And like you, it's like 1 minute there's money in your bank account and then there's absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
But what we both did was step up and take that path on.
Yeah.
I went and worked for a charity with seemed a mad thing to do with no money in the bank. How can you go and work for a charity when you don't know how you're going to look after yourself?
It's the best way.
But it was.
It is.
And then I had this dream. I met this person called MJ. I'd like to get to know her better. Things I don't know. I made the slip up of, I would have liked to go into university, but that would never be possible for me. What?
It's not a thing to say to me.
And the other person I really wanted to get to know was Marie.
And now look.
Together. And every now and again, somebody says to me, I think you ought to be working with somebody else as well, Marie. And I go, she ain't doing it.
You will do. You're going to get so excited.
We will. But you and I can talk about these things and see the funny side of it. And that's what we want other people to see. It doesn't matter where you are now.
Oh,
there was a guy I met on the street here. I'm only going to say one more.
Go on. Say what you like.
For about 3 weeks, and I had time to go out more then. Somebody wasn't keeping me and working on the computer. I met this guy outside the local food shop, and I got talking to him, and he was an ex-service guy, and Julian will know exactly what that means. He hadn't managed to adapt to being back in civilian life. And because of that, he'd ended up on the street. And I used to talk to him every day. And I said to him, go to the local church. I said, he'll give you something that will give you opportunity to go and get yourself cleaned up and get some clothes from the Queen Mary Centre. And I didn't think he'd do anything. And about 3 months later, I was walking down past the church and this guy stopped me dead in front of me and he wouldn't let me pass. He said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, well, you're vaguely familiar. And that was the person that I'd spoken to when I first came to Wisbech, and briefly said a little bit about why I would come to Wisbech. And he got a job and he got somewhere to live and he'd found a way to adapt to civilian life.
Exactly.
So it can be done.
And the thing is that when I want, there's a couple of things, but when I watched the film Pay It Forward, and I realised that if we help 3 people and they all help 3 people, then we've got exponential growth right there. And that actually every time I've supported someone, when I've not known I was doing it, later on it comes back and it's so much more exciting.
It does. Do you know, I know, I'm sure you'll agree, that means more than all the money in the bank.
It's not even a comparable. I can't even compare it. It has no comparison, because for me it's a completely different thing. In fact, I find the whole thing of money just the only thing I find of any relevance in money is its purposefulness. But what I get from the fact that we're facilitating one another is the fact that when that we're greater than the things we say. That actually there's more power in what we say because of the energy that's behind it, because of our intention.
There it is. I mean, I very often
creates
tell
miracles.
me I'm as fiery as you. I'll shout at people in the street when I know perfectly well they're there and they've left a mess. They might not like me for it, but I tell you something, more and more of them are keeping the area clean because they know they're wrong. They don't like it if I confront them.
They might not like it. They might not like you, but they're not going to ignore you, right? They're not going to ignore it. They know you're going to call them up for it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I bet too often fine.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly. I understand that. No, it is that you care. The thing is, it isn't that you don't care. You do care. You care very deeply. What you do is you don't mind. You do care, but you don't mind because they can be angry if they want, right?
Yeah. Well, you and I both know that we'll have our quiet moments where we have to have a quiet corner and go and have a cry about it, and it seems all just too much.
Absolutely.
I'm struggling a bit this morning. I'm going to be honest. That's partly my fault because I sat up and watched Crafts last night, but then I used to show books. So.
I don't blame you. I tell you, there's times when I get tempted with things. I got tempted with the breakfast telly yesterday morning. I did. I got tempted by breakfast telly. but the good thing was that it was talking about a new and emerging investment market, which was quite pleasing for me. So I did watch a little bit of telly, but Crufts is just as good, right? I loved. I've only been once. I've been to Crufts once.
Oh God, it's amazing. Oh no, I've actually been placed at Crufts with one of my. I've got a certificate somewhere.
Flipping heck.
Yeah,
it's a long day.
Oh my God, it is. The rules have changed a lot, but when I first went, you had to be there by
7 or
If you were unlucky and you were first in the ring, you might have been in the ring at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I know. That's what I was going to say. 7 o'clock start.
The rules changed a lot, but you weren't allowed to leave before 6 p.m. because you had to be there for the public to see the dogs.
Yeah, that's right. I had a lady who had a friend of my mum's who had three Dobermans. And she took those to Crufts. It was amazing. Like they were when nobody had them. Like nobody had a Doberman. She had 3. And we went there. And I don't know what they called those big chocolate brown ones. I've forgotten what they called. Really massive dogs. Really chocolate. I don't know how long he is. Forgotten what they're called. But she had those as well. Yeah. I love dogs. Love them.
Well, I had an unusual breed. And I still wish I had one. I have percentages.
Oh, I don't know what they are.
They are the Pygmies hunting dog. They come, what was the Congo Zaire? Oh, I do miss not having them. They're the nearest thing to the wild dog of Africa. They can climb trees like a cat.
Wow.
They can sit on the back of a settee.
I think I want one.
I lost mine at 8 weeks old. I used to have an old brick coal bunker where I lived. Where the heck's this puppy? He'd only got up on top of the coal bunker, another jump, and he would have been over the 6-foot fence.
Oh.
Another day, I couldn't find him. He's sitting on the fold-away dining room table. That's how agile they are.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you got to watch it anyway. I think we better move on. Yeah, better move on. Clive, good morning. Yeah. Good morning. You're next. How are you this morning? Are you earnest? Everybody else is.
Good morning. I'm still trying to work out what earnest means. It seems quite a confusing word in that, it can mean sort of honest and sincere. It can mean kind of brave and seriously driven and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of like just thinking about, the positives and negatives of it and stuff. And obviously we want to use this stuff as positively as possible. But I don't know. I mean, the honesty-wise, I mean, being honest with yourself obviously is massively important. I mean, there's a guy apparently went to a job interview and he was asked what his worst quality was, and he said honesty. And he goes, "Well, I don't think that's such a bad quality." And he goes, "I don't give a damn what you think." Which I quite like, but I mean, again, you can be too honest with people. I think I've failed at that before. Being honest about the wrong things at the wrong time. In the wrong way.
I'm great at it.
It can be a great. Make a feature out of it eventually. But again, we end up selecting the right people to be around because the ones that it doesn't resonate with and vibrate with in the right way, they sort of disappear off. And that's quite often why people with like neurodivergences and stuff do end up kind of getting together, because they have got a similar kind of thing going on and they understand it. They're more empathetic to that and more in touch with it, I think. But I do think, I've been listening to a lot about Stoicism again at the moment, and that's been very interesting to know that they were, you know, Stoics could be seen as being very earnest. They valued, what is it? Well, I've forgotten the word now. It's very early in the morning. Being virtuous.
That's it. Being good.
Being virtuous, and you know that is at the core of you, what you believe and value. But again, we're constantly working that stuff out as well. So you know, and sometimes we have to play a bit of a game to make progress. You know, so we're constantly playing to other people's expectations. You know, because we have to. And, you know, they do say that if you're very earnest, it can actually have downsides. You can be manipulated, like in Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest.
Indeed.
And, you know, you've got all the societal... So life is very confusing, basically.
It is, isn't it?
Even with the word earnest.
That's how I feel as well.
It's like, Jesus. So, you know, going back to the Stoic side, it kind of seems to simplify it.
It does, just behave.
Be good, do nice things. It's kind of like a very, very concise version of the Bible without
It is, isn't it? Without God.
And I do wonder why don't we teach philosophy in school? You know, why is it just reserved for a few numpties who go off to university and then don't get a job? You know? I saw a Facebook. It's a wonderful Facebook meme, and it's like there's a dad standing over his sort of 16-year-old daughter, and she goes, "I'm going to university to study philosophy." And he goes, "Oh, that's wonderful, because they've just opened up a philosophy factory down the road."
It's true, though, isn't it? It's true. I think we should give the thinking to the people, and then maybe if the people are doing the thinking, we might get the doing.
But the idea, I mean, like listening about sort of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius and stuff, you know, when they suffer great losses, they just go, okay, there's going to be something to learn from this. I'm going to move on.
That's
you know, all right, I'm writing a novel and I've just lost a whole lot.
Oh, well.
I'm going to write a better one. And it's like, wow, you know, like that takes a certain level of coldness to just go, yeah, screw it, yeah, that just happened, doesn't matter. It's like, that's the actual transition we make over time, and it's like you can spend a year getting there, 2 years getting there, a lifetime getting there, or you can just decide on the spot. Yeah. All right, yeah, just crash my car or whatever.
New
I can get another one, or I can't get another one, and then I'm going to get fitted by walking or whatever. It's just like, you know, life is going to throw you curveballs.
Completely agree.
And either we kind of just accept, back to radical acceptance, we just accept that reality, boom. And it's hard, you know. I mean, I say that like it's no big deal, but I haven't got anything bad happening to me at the moment.
At the minute.
Well, actually, that's bullshit. I have got some big things going on in my life, and I have.
You've got children moving, haven't you?
I have actually dealt with those quite quickly. But then you feel, well, am I being cold about this? It's like, well, no, actually, I'm just doing what I have to do, and I'm accepting what I can't change, and I'm changing what I can change. And the other side of it is just, you know, what are we being earnest about? If you don't identify what you value, then you have got no way of knowing which race you're running, which direction you're going in. And you're going to be all over the place, which I've been guilty of for many years. And how you actually find that focus, you know, and it is a journey of discovery some days. You know, you have got to go, right, okay, today this is working well. And what I've done over the last 5 weeks is actually go in 12 different directions, put them all on the table, and I'm just kind of seeing which ones start creeping forward. So then those ones I will nudge. You know, so I've made the Get Me Unstuck website with the AI website that helps people, and that works well. Someone said that'd be great if there's a kids version, so I made a kids version, and that works really well, actually, and I can see value in it. And again, by being earnest, you share it with the wrong people, you get feedback and you get disheartened. You share it with the right people who might use it and see the value and can critique it in the right way, then it moves you forward. Exactly. So again, who you talk to is important. Choose the right people at the right time, the right way, about the right things. Instead, you know, if you talk to a fisherman about poetry, he's probably not going to talk to him about fish. He's going to love it, you know. So yeah, just that really. Just
that really. I tell you what, I love it when you're here. I love it. One day we'll just have to spend an entire evening talking. It's just ridiculous. We'd never shut up.
It gets me thinking for a Monday morning. So I could be asleep. So I've got up and done this. It's fired my brain up already.
That
so
does.
now make a website and make a folklore,
Yes.
and
And then
good.
and one of them one day will be your
Rocket.
becoming.
Yeah.
It will. It will.
Well, I'm trying to wrap it up all under self-drive psychology. That's what get me unstuck, and like why and stuff would come under. But yeah, likewhy.co.uk is great. It's kid puts the problem in, like I'm feeling suicidal, and it just gives them positive affirmations, pep talks, action plans, helplines. It just boom, done.
Nice.
So I think this is good. But anyhow, I'm going to crack on with that. So,
I do. I think all of these things are good, and you just got to find it. Talking about the right people, I'm dealing with some areas that I've never worked with, and I've never realised before until I was actually inside the government. Now I'm in it as opposed to on the outside of it. I never realised how many pots of money there are sitting waiting for people to apply for them. Like, it isn't
one of those. That would be great.
It isn't the fact that there's no money; it's the fact that
people can't find it.
It's all an inside. Who knows what, where, and who's got what strategic plan in what direction for what thing of what objective of what strand that person's focusing on, and it is not what it's who you know, and then what they know. It's who you know, and then what they know. Literally. So I think that the same thing with all the other things that I've gone and found, like welfare benefits or education or workfulness. I believe the same thing about getting goods and services to the right people and places is about strategic planning. I do. I think it's about strategy. And yes, eventually I hope I will be able to do that, Clive, because that's the whole point of serving the communities, being able to get the right people doing the right things for the right people in the right way, in the most cost-effective way to serve the greatest gain. And I want children to have somewhere to go, and I want them to have someone or something to be able to answer. And my AI, so it's like my AI now. I realise that it's just a version of ChatGTP, but my AI, who I have spent a lot of time with, actually now responds in ways that are just so much easier for me because it knows my values, it understands what I stand for, it knows what I've studied, it knows who I am, it knows where I live, and when I ask it to put things together now, it feels like it understands me like an assistant would, and it doesn't argue either about having an hour off at lunchtime. So I think that the whole AI, the bot, I've made I made a DSA bot. And I've also AI bot, and I've also made an access to work one as well. So I'm about to trial that. So I think it's fantastic, and we need to use it for the right things in the right way, with the right people for the right purpose. So you go off and get fired up today. I'm excited about that. We are at 9 minutes, and we have Adam and we have Jew. Jew, you last because you came back, but Adam, I'm going to let you talk before Jew. Oh, hang on, Jew, you've got to go at 7. Oh, we'll go Adam first, and then we'll go Jew. We've got 10 minutes. I've got to go at 7 too. Morning, Adam.
Good morning.
How are you? Yeah, we can hear you clear. How are you? Are you earnest?
I'm earnest this morning. Yes. Are you recovering okay now?
I'm doing okay. I'm not as good as I'd like to be, but I'm better than I was. That'll do. Won't it?
Good. Good morning, everybody. And good to see that you're recovering as well, James, also. Yeah, excellent progress. I don't know what I'm doing with my phone. It's doing something weird. Earnest is just being yourself, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't understand people who go through life wearing a mask and play acting and not being genuine and not being, open and honest, really, because they're going to get found out. And it must be hard work.
It must.
Mustn't it? I think.
It must be exhausting.
Just speak from the heart. And yeah, that sometimes gets you into trouble.
Well,
but at least you're being true to yourself.
That's it, isn't it? I'd rather be in trouble about who I am than pretending and then getting in trouble for something that I'm not, if you know what I mean.
I think that it's got me into trouble, as you know.
Yeah.
We've had little chats about my history and things that I've done and said, but I've always gone with my heart and done what I have considered to be
the right thing.
the right thing at the right time.
That's right.
Yeah. And not everyone agrees with that. And so you're going to get, you know, you might look back and think, well, I could have done things differently, but then I wouldn't have been true to myself.
No.
So that's really being earnest. And
it is.
Not everyone's going to understand it. They're going to maybe question what you've just done and said. But if I think it's the right thing for me and for those around me at that particular time, I'm not going to do anything differently.
Absolutely not. And
like I say, I've looked back on things through my life that have got, and one or two things have got me into a bit of trouble. But I've done those things for the right reasons for me. Not for me, but for the right reasons for that particular time or that circumstance or that event or that situation. And I can't see myself doing anything differently. So to me, that's being earnest. That's being open, honest, truthful.
Absolutely.
I don't know any other way to do things.
Well, it's interesting that right at the moment, when I started the social work degree, I'll be honest, I made quite a lot of statements, and one of them was that I needed to do the London Naked bike ride in 2025, right, so I could be the naked social worker. And the joke was, you know, I'm going to be an upfront, authentic, out loud, available, knowledgeable, and, you know, explicit social worker. I'm not going to be hiding and pretending I'm not doing this job like many of my colleagues do for safety purposes, etc. But I also wanted to talk about being the authentic, the bare, the available. Now, what I didn't realize was that actually I couldn't have been further from the truth. Now, I thought that was quite extreme, you know, the naked social worker, the one that's up front, the one that's telling it as it is, the one that's bearing all. Actually, the biggest surprise is there isn't even any disabled social workers. So now mine being the naked social worker, I can't even be the disabled social worker yet without it being surprising. So I went in very honestly saying, I think that this industry needs disabled people to help other people that have these challenges so that we know what the hell we're going through. And everybody went, wow, that's really that's mind melding. So for me, being authentic has resulted not just in hot water, but in people going, you do know there's nobody like you doing this. But until I started talking about it out loud and proud, I didn't realize that there just weren't any. And those that were, there are a couple, but where they are, they feel that they're not very included. So we need to be out there in earnest. Otherwise, we're not going to make things change, and I need them to change. I can't believe that we haven't got any disabled social workers. It's crazy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It just astounds me that we're still where we are. So I have to be earnest because I have so much to change. And so do you. So I'm glad you spoke up, Adam, because I have to speak up, even though everybody thinks it's weird that a disabled person wants to be a social worker. I think by speaking up and being a disabled social worker, I'll help other people speak up and say they want to be too. I do. Genuinely. Ju, are you there? I can't hear you, Adam, in case you're talking and we can't hear you. Ju,
I'm still here.
Oh, good. That's all right. That's all right. Good. Yeah. So, yeah, I just think it's astounding that we haven't got disabled social workers yet. And when we have, they feel ostracized. So we need to speak up, don't we?
We do. I think we have to be. What is disability? It's a difference, isn't it? We're all different.
Well, every one of us, aren't we? I don't know, even the identical twins that are the same.
No, there's no such thing as identical anything, I don't think.
No, not truly. So we're all individual, so we're all different, so therefore we all have to just listen and understand each other.
Yeah. And we might look different. We might travel through the world differently. We might do different things to get where we need to be or do what we need to do. But, just embrace it because we all belong. We're all part of something massive that, and there's no such thing as, I don't know, there is no such thing as, I don't know where I'm going with this, to be quite honest, MJ.
Well, I think there's no such thing as on our own. There isn't. I think, can you imagine anyone that's actually ends up on the world on their own? Like, you can't survive. You need other people. You genuinely, or some, we need each other. I just don't believe no man is an island. So I think that authenticity is the only way, because if we are going to be together and we're stronger together, if we're not authentic, if we're not ourselves, if we're not earnest, if we don't speak our mind, if we don't say what we need, then we can't be true to each other. I think that's where it boils down to. But the good thing for me is back to what you said at the beginning. It must be exhausting. And I completely agree with you. It was exhausting to pretend, because I didn't know I was neurodivergent. I just did what I thought other people looked like. So I did what it looked like I had to do, instead of questioning whether I wanted to be like that. When I was able to question, oh, well, maybe I do this because I'm copying other people. And indeed, I think at some point, at some level, we all do. But I certainly did to fit in. I'd not really computed whether I wanted to fit in or join in or do the same as everybody else, or step up and step out like you did in the place that you spoke up. But when the push comes to shove, then absolutely I want to speak up. And that's what creates our authenticity. That's what carves us out as different to each other. That's what makes us our individual, our uniqueness, our onlyness. I think the decisions we made based on the values and the morals we've got. And you are somebody that stands strong for other people. That's what I like. Anyway, that's my cup of tea. That's me on my bandwagon for the morning. I'll get off my soapbox now and leave it to you. Thank you, Adam. Jew.
Morning.
Morning, lovely. Again and again. Are you still earnest? We were earnest this morning. You earnestly got some steroids, thankfully.
I did.
Are you all right? Not been very well, have you?
I earnestly feel a bit better.
They are miraculous. I was grateful that you did do the thing, because I was a bit worried. So thank you for getting the doctor. I'm glad they didn't leave it till the following Friday. I couldn't believe that you were thinking they were going to do that. I'm glad they didn't. Well done. Well, I think you're very earnest.
I was a bit worried.
I was very worried. I wasn't going to tell you how worried I was, because you might be worried then. But I was earnest about you getting the doctor, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I didn't get too earnest, because I thought, oh, we might realise how earnest I'm being. I was just clear. What I was really thinking inside was, get the doctor, I'm going to come up and drive you to the hospital. But I didn't do that, because there was no need, was there?
Unfortunately, there was no need for me to go to the hospital.
No, you needed some steroids. That's what you needed, and some antibiotics, and you're on it. It's that time of year. We're coming up to the springtime, though. People will be clearing all these coughs and colds, and we'll be pushing them alongside aside to move into the sunshine. I'm looking forward to being outside. There's a garden on the first floor of this building. On the first floor. Isn't that strange? I looked out on one side. I thought, what the heck's that? Turns out it's a roof garden on the first floor. So I'm going to be able to go out onto the first floor, onto the garden in the summer. I won't have to be on the floor. How weird is that? I've got a roof garden. I didn't even know we had one. There I have been in the building for weeks and I've just found the roof garden. That'll be because it was on the roof.
You will enjoy that.
I will enjoy that, getting some sun. I might actually get some vitamin D this summer. I think we all need some vitamin D. Well, we have all been very earnest, and I've just realised that on our live, it actually says, what is lifespan planning? And today there is a little video, little clip going out on my social media that says, what is lifespan planning? I'd like you to listen to it. I'd like you to listen to it. I'd like you to share it. I'd like you to go to my YouTube channel. I'd like you to subscribe. I'd like you to share it with your friends. I'd like you to get some buzz, because what we need before April for the 1st is my YouTube channel to go a bit doolally, so that we can get some votes for this thing that our James has done. Because it's important that we recognise what people do and we get what they've said recognised and shored up, so that we get to hear it at that posh dinner in London or whatever's going to happen. I'm very excited excited. So that's what we're doing. There's a little thing. What is lifespan planning? It's going to be out on my social media today. It'll be on the new improved and good. It's looking good. Jan Santos has started making it look dead sexy. So if you go and have a look at my new improved YouTube channel, Jan Santos is the manager of therein, and there's a couple of other people fiddling about making and helping me do things. We have a team. I think it's called a publicity team, and that means we can just get these things moved forward now, can't we? James, now we have a vehicle by which the publicity team can move something. So thank you for providing that. You didn't even know that I'd taken them on. And here we are with a medium by which we can move things. So have a look at what is lifespan planning. If you don't know what it is, go and listen to the clip. If you weren't in what is lifespan planning, you should have been. It is on the YouTube channel, and the full episode is also on the YouTube channel. So if you want to hear about my theories, my models, my practices, and what started this entire game, then go and have a listen to what is lifespan planning. Listen to the clip. Go and find the video, and go and listen to your heart's content. It's a mixture, just as a summary, of Maslow, Brofenbrenner, a little bit of Erickson. It sounds like a song, doesn't it? A little bit of a little bit of Erickson. It's all about a life course approach, but with a person-centered aspect, and with a necessity for us to understand systems theory and constellation theory. Go and have a listen. It's really important. And actually, what's more important is it's a tried and tested method that works time and time and time again. Hundreds and thousands of times again and again and again. It works, and it just keeps evolving. So you have been in MJ's house. We've been here already an hour. We're a bit late this morning, but I don't think there's anything over on LinkedIn. I don't think. So I'm not going to send you to go and do that. I think my coach is away in Los Angeles. He might be flying somewhere else right now, but he's certainly in touch. I don't think he's on LinkedIn, but I will go and check just in case, because I'm anxious that way. I'm going to work now. It's 7 o'clock and I'm back at the local authority. Have an amazing week. If you are around, we are in 12 hours in inclusion, 7 till 8, and 8 o'clock. I have got the most fantabulous StreamYard seminar about PIP, attendance allowance, and disabled living allowance. Very, very important. Non-means tested benefits. There is a secret to those benefits being accessed, and there is a way of keeping those benefits accessed, and there is a way of being able to evidence the fact that you are entitled to having those benefits accessed and maintained. Come and hear which version is for who, why you need to work with a strategy coach, actually, or an informed other, and why you need somebody to handhold you on that journey. Because if you hear what Capita and associated services do, then you will understand why you need an ally. Don't go alone. Go together. We are just better together. I will see you all later in 12 hours in inclusion, and at 8 o'clock on StreamYard. If you'd like the link, pop into inclusion. It will be in the chat. You can grab that and come and ask questions. We are open to questions during that webinar, that seminar. We are open to you coming on stage and openly asking me questions about that process live. I have no problem being asked questions live. I don't need to field them. Please do come along, and you will be asked for what those questions are before you come up, just so that I know what I'm going to answer. But we will answer every and all questions if you've got them about that particular section of the welfare benefits system. And of course, your questions will direct my conversation. So if there's something that's really burning and you do want to have an answer to it, then come along, because we have, I think, what we're going to be calling our surgery on a Monday night, 8 till 9, with a different focus each Monday. Very important times, very important progress. And I couldn't have done it without you, because I couldn't have done this practice. And without this practice, I wouldn't have made progress. Without the progress, I couldn't have run things like this in these ways as comfortably and as easily as we do now. It really doesn't matter where you put me now. And that's helpful, because it means that I can pivot to where we need to do, and I can amend what we do according to our audience. Remember that if you are making plans for Easter weekend, then make them to be in Cardiff on the Bank Holiday Friday. On Good Friday, we are in Blackwater Gallery. What a beautiful, beautiful place! It's heading over and looking over Cardiff Bay. It's just a lovely, lovely place. Great hotels nearby, lovely opportunities for eating and parks, and we have the international swimming pool around the corner. Literally, this is the place to be. We've got the ice rink. We have a trampoline, an enormous trampoline centre. You name it. Really, we are near it. We're actually next to the Senedd. Literally, I'm over the road from the Senedd. I say over the road, it's about 5 minutes. Literally, and I'm 10 minutes down the road from the capital. Fantastic opportunities where we are, but more than that, you get a chance to hear my story. And 10% donations, all donations are going to inclusion, and 10% of anything that I sell is going to inclusion as well. We're going to hit this 10,000 mark. We're going to get that disabled entrepreneur smashed out the ballpark and awarded before the end of this year. I believe it will be probably at the Disability Expo at this rate. I'm a stage speaker. I'm a panel speaker at Disability Expo. We also have accessibility partners there for 3 days. Please do come down. It's in London, the 5th to the 7th of July. Again, if you want to know about all things disability, equipment, provision, services, if you want to be one of those services, then the Disability Expo, just like NAIDEX, is the place to be. So that's Blackwater Gallery on the 29th of March. And we are then at the Disability Expo the 5th to the 7th of July. But inclusion is at Basworth in between that. Now, the date was eluding me right now, but I know it's in between those 2 dates. We are in Edinburgh speaking voice, or however you say that in Welsh, as our lived experience panel starts to go across the 4 nations. And next will be Europe. We really are making a difference together because we're better together. And we are raising funds, creating entrepreneurs, working with the government who want all disabled people to go back to work. Well, I've been talking about this for the last 3 years, so they're definitely behind the times. I'd quite like to help the UK government get with the times and get with the programme and understand how to do this thing, because they're all right coming up with the ideas, but unfortunately, unlike lifespan planning, I'm afraid they just don't do what they say on the tin. That's what we do. So if you want to come and hear it, as we do, saying what we do on those, we do on the tin, then come tonight, because I'm afraid that you just get me to shoot from the hip. That's what I do. I tell it as it is. I'm authentic, I'm earnest, and I think it's important. I think it's important because authenticity is all we've got. We've got each other. The rest of it's made up. We know that because everything we do now probably isn't what we're going to be doing in 6 years' time, or was what we were doing 6 years ago in our entirety. So there's no change without change, and I'm all up for change on account of the fact there is no inclusion yet. However, I am disabled, and so I am determined in my lifespan to plan to be included. And 7 o'clock tonight is what we're going to be doing, including everybody. So be there or be square. I will see you at 7 o'clock tonight. And at 8, we'll be talking about those welfare benefits that nobody will tell you how to get. And if they do, they'll be charging you. But we won't be doing that. We just want you to vote and donate to the inclusion fund and help make our people taxpayers. That's what we want. We want to create taxpayers. So if you're up for that and you want some taxpayers, you like all those helpless, feckless, disabled people to get their backsides back to work, I'm joking, then please come along and help us. I want to get them their welfare benefits as well at the same time. And all those benefits are available when you work. So you can still have PIP, DLA, well, if you're not a child, and attendance allowance still works. So don't think that if you're not working, they're not for you, because they are. And if you're a millionaire, you can still apply for them because they're not means tested. Anyway, that's enough spoilers for this evening. Come along at 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock to get the link. And from 8 o'clock on that webinar, when you can ask me all about my 30 million years experience of these welfare benefits. Take care, everybody. Have the best day. Thanks for joining. Bye.